Hello everyone, we're going to do some Zelda for the first time in quite a while. It's not the most popular series really, surprisingly, for VGM reactions that I see, but I don't know, I grew up loving Zelda, maybe my first favorite franchise, even though I have not played Tears of the Kingdom and have been a little slow to the more recent entries, but have a long and passionate history with the series since I was a child. I think Ocarina of Time was probably my first favorite game for a long time, although I did prefer Majora's Mask. But anyways, I love Zelda. I think it should be a series that gets a lot of attention for its music. It's just not as big of a scene on YouTube, it seems, but that's fine. I'm really curious to explore more. I've gotten some good recommendations before, and one of them was for a track that seems to be possibly maybe the final boss of this game, called Demon Dragon. I'm not actually sure. I haven't really spoiled that for myself, and I'm sure this music itself is kind of a spoiler. I'm okay with that. It's still something I get to enjoy blind, possibly even enjoy in a way that's lesser than the full context of the game. You don't quite experience the music in its true form, especially if it's dynamic or fits with everything else going on. Maybe it's not the full experience. But on the other hand, sometimes playing a game, you can completely not even really notice amazing music. It can really wash past you and be hard to fully engage in musically. So in some ways, approaching music out of context blind can be kind of a way to say you're getting, in some senses, a fuller experience of it. I certainly will perceive more about this track and be more engaged with it as a piece of music listening to it like this blind versus encountering it in the game, even though the game is a more authentic experience with more dimensions to it and other things that are even programmed functions of the music that are unique to the active gameplay. Let's get started. I really don't know what to expect musically. It's only a 4-minute track, and it might be a final boss, so it might be pretty intense, but I have genuinely no idea what I'm about to listen to, so let's check it out. Okay, after that cymbals crash, I'm going to stop, talk about the intro. As always, the intro is one of the most important things that I always talk about a lot because, I go from a void of nothingness, no awareness of the music, to suddenly being filled with so many things, many of which are going to continue without or for the rest of the track, but are, established now. And a lot of intros are doing interesting things as well, sometimes that do not get carried forward into the rest of the track. Perhaps even that don't get looped in the game. It's part of an intro section that the loop goes back, not including the intro. So even in a game sense, it can be something separate. For either reason, it's very interesting. What I immediately liked about this instantly, why can't I control this? There we go. What I immediately like is that it has this kind of strings ostinato, you could say. It's a repeated section, kind of a cell that repeats. It has this repeated section with the strings that just feels like in most pieces it would be more static. It would be playing the same harmony or the same grouping of notes that it's playing in this small section of a handful of strings, mostly violins, I assume. And maybe go back and forth between two chords they're playing, play the same one, a simple loop. I just felt like immediately it was more interesting than I was expecting. Yeah, it establishes something that sounds like it's going to loop. But yeah, you expect that kind of 4 grouping and then a repeat of the 4. It just, our ears are used to that, but it actually goes longer. It's 8, things that are a unique cell before it repeats. And it just feels really stimulatingly different. I know that's so much in just a few seconds, but I really, really liked that. I also feel like this is not the best rip of the track on YouTube. I feel like I would like to hear it in better quality. So in the future I might acquire the OST to listen to it better. Ooh. Reminds me of the shrines in Breath of the Wild a little bit. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, is this the... I don't even know how to pronounce it. The erhu? I wish I knew how that instrument's name is actually pronounced. But beautiful instrument and sounds like it. We don't get it a lot in the West. The Dota 2 main theme has a really notable use of it. Anyways, maybe something different. There's many, string instruments throughout the world that have sort of tone like this, but gorgeous. I just want to appreciate the orchestral arrangement of this. I am an avid symphony goer, and I really appreciate the acoustic experience of it. And I really appreciate when composers do write music for the typical orchestra performing forces. I don't think anybody should feel like they need to. I don't think there's any prestige or properness or elitism that should be associated with it. I just personally feel like it has a bit of a nice natural sound. When you're not leveraging too much like greater forces than that, too much like explosive, epic, like digital sound, it gives you more room to grow with the sound. Like you haven't broken past the boundaries yet, so you have room for it to get more interesting despite the variety you can already get from a traditional orchestra. So, the kind of epic sound we get is really just normal timpani. We have a little bit of like cymbal crashes. But yeah, I love the instrumentation, but then it is still a little weird. Like many great tracks from games, like the whole Nier Automata, like tracks I've done, Clair Obscur has a number of them as well, that have like really traditional instrumental forces, but then have just a little bit of a digital effect on something, just enough to be like, ooh, this is really interesting. What is that? It kind of, again, is trying to be subversive. Like it doesn't just go all out. It's establishing a baseline, and therefore those digital kind of effects are more noticeable and actually hit a lot harder in terms of like your artistic impression because you've set a baseline. And here we have that sound that is very familiar to me from Breath of the Wild. It's a distant memory because I haven't listened to the music in a while, but of that kind of like digitally reverberating piano keys. It's really cool. And then, yeah, we get this string instrument brought in that has this beautiful voice, and I hope we get a lot more of that. I'm going to back up about 10 seconds and catch more of this, but lots of instrumentation coming in, but not overwhelmingly so. It would be gorgeous live, I'm sure. And possibly they do play this at like Symphony of the Goddess, things like that, which I've not gone to yet, but I will sometime. I am going to a Distant Worlds one for the first time very soon, and curious about that. I haven't seen a lot of game concerts. I saw like the 8-Bit Big Band, who've won a couple Grammys for game arrangements, which is incredible. They were amazing. I saw the Elden Ring Symphonic Adventure, which was like turning the game into a movie. That was crazy. Yeah, not too much else. A couple like compilation concerts of games, and not a Zelda one, but I'm sure this would be great. But it also is really not what I expected for a boss theme. Like this is quite beautiful and symphonic. Sounds really like main theme of the game kind of feeling. Like this is like an overall overture for the game, not like an intense dramatic, dragon boss battle. Oh, it is spoiled. I see. Okay, that's why I was spoiled. You can't see it, but the window, the title of this video doesn't say final boss battle. So oops, I guess I know what it is. But yeah, it's not that boss battle-y intense yet. It doesn't feel like combat music. A little bit. It's got some tension, but it's in such a good way. Like it feels so like descriptive of the game as a whole rather than this one moment that has to be hyper aggressive. Anyways, I backed up 10. Let's continue. Sorry for all the rambling. You know me. Yeah, just that kind of shaking. The string counter melody. Again. that. So gorgeous. Yeah, that classic kind of modern Zelda sound. Ooh, ooh. Oh, shit. Oh, the gorgeous jazzy horn action. Some more percussion coming in. Oh my god. Damn, hard to not do a bit of a stank face during all that. Like, it's getting, it's really grooving. There's a lot of new instruments. Like, it's made some bold steps. We had those, lovely horns getting a little bit jazzy, and now it's kind of still happening. There's some interesting, like, harmonic modal things kind of layering that are just gradually being less and less expected, less traditional. I really do stick to feeling like this is just very overture-esque for the whole game. I talked a lot about this in another video. I forget which one it was, about game music versus like opera overtures, but sort of the way that some game themes, maybe it was the Professor Layton video with the Devil's Flute. It might have been that one. I think it was. Yeah. So if you want to hear me talk more about opera overtures and game music, ramble about that, go check out the Devil's Flute Layton reaction. It was an awesome main theme. But yeah, just the fact that like some tracks like this, they feel like they're really going through the journey of the game. They're setting the landscape, the feel, like kind of what the whole journey's been like. Capturing different elements of the game, different places, different feelings, character themes, maybe leitmotifs. I just feel like it's kind of doing that. As a boss battle, it's almost like it's having a backwards look at like what the experience of the game has been. It could just be because it's like such an important piece of music at a impactful, momentous time that it feels just important to bring in like sort of all the different compositional styles that have been used in the game and bring them all in one thing. And in that way, it's less of an overture and more of like a greatest hits of the soundtrack all come all at once. The composers do all the stuff they've been doing throughout the soundtrack and they put it all together in one climactic piece. It could be like that. But it does feel, you know, like it's really giving me a piece of everything this game has to offer sonically. Yeah, anyways, I backed up a little bit to hear more if it's really layering things, and they're really doing a layering of just subtly unexpected things. And yeah, just the strings counter melodies we had earlier were so good. Ooh, nice rhythmic effect here. Oh yeah, there's the main theme. I recognize that. And this is like the Ganon theme. Yeah, classic Ganon. Ooh. Yeah, we really got one statement of like the Tears of the Kingdom theme. And then we go straight into classic Ganondorf. Some keys. Yeah, the string counter melodies. Oh, this is my favorite part, though. It's these beautiful strings that come back and call in response to the erhu or whatever the instrument is. Pizzicato. I love these horns. Ooh, it's so good. It's so spicy for no reason. Love it. Now back to the adventuresome percussion. We're really moving. Back to this rhythm. Shakes up the mood so much. We're gonna go to Ganon again? I think so. I love the little bells we get to at some moments. Sometimes it's piano, but there's some bells in there too. Great leading strings melody now, really just super clear. The rhythmic phrasing is really neat in the strings. Fade out to the piano focus. Oh, I love that choice of the bass note against this right-hand ostinato. Ooh. Oh, that full-bodied voice. What a gorgeous sound. I love this combination of sounds. This is so pleasing. Hard to imagine this would... It just feels like the conclusion of such a beautiful piece. Oh, interesting. Okay. I was like, this feels like such a natural, gorgeous conclusion to this music. I'm like, how's this gonna loop? Like, clearly this is like a boss battle. Like, it must be looping. Obviously it does in the game. There's going to be set points probably after the intro and before that, like, creation of an outro, and that this closure of the piece is almost certainly the soundtrack version. That's what I would totally expect. Not 100% sure, but it would seem like it. I doubt it would have that closure at the end and then go to silence and start looping again. But it could. There are some songs and games that do that. They do have a full intro and outro, and they loop between that, and that seems like it would be awkward, but there's some great games and great music that does do that, and sometimes it works. Sometimes it's not that jarring that things fade away and then come back in entirely for the new loop. But yeah, clearly it's unlikely here. I would like to know, like, when it loops. Would be interesting to see it in game. Maybe I'll go look up a video later of someone doing... No, I don't want to spoil it now. I still want to play this game. Very high on my list. But yeah, I just felt like such a natural way that I would expect this, like, in the concert hall to eventually wrap up. Just gorgeous, like, the combination of instruments going towards the end, just a sort of like, sort of stimulating but peaceful feeling. One of my favorite kind of moods. It really felt like it was properly wrapping up, and I just loved that. Yeah, I mean, I rambled a lot on this one and made a 4-minute thing pretty long, but you know what? I've done longer. This is what I'm at, like 20 minutes. Yeah, nothing crazy. I could have gone for 40 minutes on this, especially if I had a keyboard here to demonstrate some things with, but that's okay. I'll have more elements to some more videos once I really figure out if I'm getting back in the groove of things. Anyhow, though, I want to close this out. That was really beautiful, and I think... So... It's not really under dramatic classical, which is really interesting to me. I would have predicted, even just off the first few seconds of strings, I would have predicted it's going to go in dramatic classical if I liked it. These are all pieces I really liked. But it just really didn't go so super boss battle intense. It was dramatic, but more like narratively dramatic, like musically dramatic kind of, but not, wasn't pushing combat aggression. Not that all of these dramatic classical ones also did that, but they are very intense. Like, these have some extremely intense stuff in them. At least as far as I remember. I haven't gone back to them too much. And I don't know if I'd say orchestrated energy. Possibly. I'm considering this. It's just a little bit chill, though. It's almost calm yet stimulating, but I feel like these are more loop-based, oftentimes. Or really intentionally being calm. And this piece has calmness sometimes in the layers, but not most of the time. So I really felt like this piece does fit with the possibly orchestrated energy. I almost feel like it could be in a, like, just generally symphonic area, despite like the little bit of different, like, slightly digital sounds that are very like modern Zelda. But I think possibly I would still say dramatic classical. It's definitely not 20th century classical the way that Master of Masters was. It doesn't sound like a, Prokofiev or something. It is very nearly the calm and stimulating, but yeah, these are more overly calm or very loopy, like as in they loop a lot of things much more. Though this has that looping, It's like a slightly hypnotic effect. It does actually have it in this piece, but I think I will put it here under dramatic classical. I think it fits for that. Let me listen to a little bit more to remind myself. I mean, it had some groovy bits for sure, but I think some of the sort of call and response going on with the string counter melodies just sounded so good, and that would be dramatic classical. Right there. Yeah, I think I could put this under dramatic classical. I think so. And again, I would love to listen to this in a much higher quality track, because I feel like maybe it's just me, but I feel like generally YouTube rips for games I listen to sound more than good enough. I feel like this one is not a good quality audio, unfortunately. Still great, and it's very easy for me to become immersed in the experience to not really notice that. But like at first blush, it definitely sounds like I'm maybe not getting the full experience there, but that's okay. It still was great. Why are so many things highlighted red here? That is interesting. There should not be a spell check on this page. Oh, no, it's gone. Okay. All right, so I want to put Zelda here. Do I already have any Zelda on this? I don't think so. I'm not going to write out the entire Legend of Zelda name. And this is Demon Dragon. Yeah, I'm going to put this here. I really enjoyed it. It's enough that I want to put on one of these playlists, which again, I will be making these so that you guys can go and listen to some of them. At least the ones that have more tracks on them. Like, it feels a little bit silly to have a playlist that's only Xenoblade or Fire Emblem 4. But some of these have some variety, like these two. I would like to make those available just as listening playlists publicly. Anyways, yeah, this was a really great track. There's a little bit of a change in lighting during this because I got interrupted and had to change things up and go do something for a bit, but came back to finish this, close it out. You may have just heard a desktop sound. We'll see if that makes it into the video. Little notification. But yeah, this was a great piece, really good recommendation. I enjoyed a lot of things about it, and you heard my takes and a lot of chatter, so I will see you in the next video, and let me know what else you think is really worth checking out from especially Tears of the Kingdom, because it is a Zelda game I have not played yet, so I don't know the music, and I can go into it blind. But yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you next time.